prophesies, yet he had done no deceit, had done nothing wrong. The priests, now he is brought before the people. On Yom Kippur, the high priest or the priest would stand before the sacrifice and the scapegoat before the people. And now the sacrifice is standing, Messiah is standing, the sacrifice before the people. And one is taken from prison. Two men, one is guilty, one is innocent. Barabbas. The guilty one is released. Why? That's exactly what happens with a sacrifice. When a sacrifice is offered up, one goes free, and the one who goes free is the guilty one. The one who's innocent is the one who dies. That's the sacrifice. It dies for the other. From guilt. You know, remember the sacrifice when the leper is cleansed? And it says that the priest will take a dove, a bird, and one bird is killed, and the blood goes into running water mixed with the water, and the other bird is baptized into the water and blood of the first bird and goes free with a sprinkle covered with the blood of the other one. Well, that's exactly what Barabbas is all about. It's a sign of what everyone who comes to Messiah is all about. Here is the sinner, the criminal, set free because of the sacrifice. But it even goes, we don't have time to go, there's so much rich, amazing stuff in the mysteries of the Lamb here. But just a note, you know, every time a Jewish man or a Hebrew boy was born, the firstborn, he would have to be purchased back from God. He was the firstborn. He belonged to God. So the parents would have to give a gift, would have to give silver to the priests, symbolically purchasing back that one. And so the son, the firstborn son, always had to be purchased back to this day. I mean, to those who observe it. And so what happens here now is here they're paying, for the first time in history, the priests take all the money they have, and think about all the money that was given to them for this and other things, but they're given this, and now they purchase back somebody. They purchase back Jesus. They give 30 pieces of silver to purchase him back. What's that? All the generations, the priests are receiving money and letting the son go to say he's God. But now they take the money and they purchase him back. The only time the priest purchased someone. Because it was always, you know, because why? It's because ultimately it's the lamb who dies for all those firstborn people. And the thing is, it's called the act of redeeming your son, your firstborn son. It's called Pidyon Haben, the redemption of the son. And so here, on the time of his execution, this guy named Barabbas, this criminal, goes free. What does Barabbas mean? Barabbas is from Hebrew, Bar Abba. It means the son of the father. Here, the son of the father was always purchased back. And now Yeshua is taken by the priest with that money that was given for the redemption. And he is the redemption for all. So Barabbas goes free. At the end of Yom Kippur, what happens is, it says that those who dealt with the sacrifice or the scapegoat, they had to cleanse themselves, because in a sense they were dealing with the sins. And so they had to cleanse themselves, wash in water, take off their clothes, wash. Notice what happens in the death of Messiah. Pilate, after he takes part in the death of Messiah, what does he do? He washes his hands. And notice something too. It says in the ordinance for Yom Kippur, it says that they will bring the goat to a man who stands ready to take that goat away with the sins of the people. Well, it was tradition that the man who stood to take the goat when they led it outside the city, it was tradition that this man was a Gentile, not Jewish. So here, what happens? The priest take the sacrifice and give it into the hands of a Gentile, Pilate, and the Romans. And then it says they wash afterwards. That's exactly what happens. And then it says in Matthew 27, the people answered and they said, his blood be upon us. Now that's been taken by anti-Semites to say, look, you see, the Jewish people are guilty. Well, yeah, they are, and we all are. Everybody's guilty. And then but the blood coming upon us is actually a good thing. The blood of Messiah. What happens at Yom Kippur? What happens with the sacrifices after the blood is done? Like as for instance with Yom Kippur, the blood is sprinkled. The blood is applied to life. Everyone who is saved, in a sense, is saying, his blood be upon me. In salvation, that's not a curse, it's a blessing. Why was Messiah handed over to the Romans? We said before, there's a tradition that the sacrifice was handed over, the scapegoat, to Gentiles or a man. But why the Romans? The Romans, of course, were the ones who could execute him. But also, there's another thing. The Romans are part of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire represents the world, represents man. So if the priests first represent Israel, the soldiers of Rome or the Roman represent all man. He's killed Messiah. Who killed Messiah? The Jews. Who killed Messiah? The Gentiles. Everybody. He was in the Jew first and also to the Gentile. That's how his death came. That's how the gospel goes. The Roman soldiers acted as the agents of Rome. Specifically, they were the agents of Caesar. What was Caesar or the emperor called? He had a title. He was called Pontifex Maximus. What does that mean? Pontifex means priest, and Maximus means high. What does it mean? His name was high priest. So you have the Jewish high priest, and then you've got a Gentile high priest, the one who is behind both things. Look what happened.